Hey everybody, and welcome to the Wonder Twins Business Hour. I'm Ryan Gilliam, and with me, as usual, is Jake the Alright.
Jake.
This week we're doing a topical episode about Halo campaign evolved and just Halo stuff in general. So we have brought in an expert, friend of the channel, Pfhorbear. What's up, dude?
Howdy, 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 everybody. Or should I say Austin?
Yeah, maybe that would be good. That'd be good. Yeah, we do that now. For sure. Okay, so it's been a little bit over a week at the time of recording this for when the early access people who paid to get past the Game Pass barrier could play Campaign Evolved. And then it's been less than a week slightly for the normies who didn't want to do that to get access to the Game Pass version of the game. And I've had the game for quite a while at this point. So we'll be attempting to answer two questions here. First, like, why does Halo Campaign Evolved exist in the first place? And two, can anyone, or does the game justify its existence? But before we get to that, before we're as a representative of the Halo community, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Dude,
why are you like this? Can you
So
explain that? Can we get that first?
just real quick for anyone watching that is not familiar, I used to be a Halo content creator like 3-4 years ago. And man, oh man, is it hard to want to do that because of how fun the Halo community can be. Um what an insane last couple of weeks it's been on Halo Twitter. Don't know what's going on. I guess on behalf of the 30,000 people or whatever that played this game, I apologize to the millions of impressions that it's been getting on Twitter that will never play this game because woke or whatever. So I am so sorry about that. Uh, you should play this game if you have any passing interest in Halo and ignore the noise around it.
Yeah, why are they so miserable? Like,
This is
just,
rich
Because
coming from
we
Destiny guy Ryan.
yeah, it's I'm
well,
not
and like
beyond hypocrisy. I'm not like
the three
I
games.
don't. I think the Destiny community was overly miserable, and I think
but
everyone
it wasn't
then
for
coming.
such a long time.
Yeah, but the community? No. The community has literally always been like,
I don't know, man.
expansion comes out 2 weeks later. Most content creators start swapping to dead game. This next expansion, this next season is make or break for Destiny. And then now everyone is like, I can't believe Destiny died. The same people. No. The Destiny community is one of the most miserable communities
I agree.
on Earth, and I will stand on that.
I'm
as a
talking
member
about
of the
like
community.
reveal 2013 through like mid 2016. Destiny community was pretty chill. Rise of Iron comes out and then it kind of goes anyway. It doesn't matter. The Halo community has been miserable for like 15 years because Bungie decided to put sprint in the game, and it has just completely tumbled apart ever since. So again, a Bungie decision, but 343
It
bad.
was an armor ability, wasn't it?
Number company bad. Yeah, but like go play the campaign. It's the default ability. Play most multiplayer modes in Halo Reach 2010 to 2013. It's the default armor ability in multiplayer. The only modes that didn't have armor abilities back then was like SWAT. So people are miserable because they need something to bitch about because number company bad. And I'm sorry, Halo Studios now bad. Uh I don't know, man. Let's find any reason. Box art has bisexual lighting on it.
Oh,
How
it
dare
does.
they? Oh, of course. Yeah, never mind the fact that the planet threshold has always looked like that.
Yeah. No,
But
like as a bisexual individual myself, that's our lighting. I see
no, of
it.
course.
That's
The
it's
one
my
guy,
Halo game.
I hope someone watching this saw the tweet, but the one guy on Twitter that bitched about it with his purple RGB in the background killed me. Absolutely
Love
fried me. Sent me to the moon. Loved that. Hope he's doing well.
He is for sure. Those people are always doing great in their personal lives. That's why they get so. That's why they have so much time to get angry on the internet because they're like, "Oh, I've mastered real life, so
Well,
now I can just spend all my time doing this."
Jake, I don't know if you've seen. I don't know how much time you spend obsessively clicking on Halo tweets.
I don't know how gay your
but
lighting is.
but yeah, but you know, Ryan and I play for the same swappable teams or whatever. Jake, have you seen that you can't kill women in Halo Combat Evolved Campaign Evolved?
I
It's
did.
not true.
I
but
did see a clip of someone well, but then I also saw someone punching a woman in the back of the head. So I can say I've also seen
in Halo,
violence between the sexes in Halo. It is real.
Okay. Thank you for your clarity.
Yes, fear not, guys. Don't worry. If you want to hurt women, that is possible in Halo. Still get the game
It is.
for that. If that's
Not that you're probably not doing it in real life, but
Hey man, just like 400 subscribers until I have to be really concerned that I'm going to get demonetized for having that conversation this early on in the video. So subscribe below.
So yeah, that's why the Halo community is mad. Is any possible thing that you could think someone could be mad about, they've already thought about it and they've already prepared an argument.
It just seems like, okay, look, I'm here. This is rich. I will say this is rich for me because I am somebody who really did not like anything that Halo Studios /343 put out
that's
prior to Infinite. So prior to Infinite, and then they put out Infinite, and I was like, this is cool, and they were like, we're abandoning it because we beefed it on the multiplayer so badly that we're gonna have to pull resources and go do that. So we'll tell the story in a book. And then I was like, I'm done with these fuckers. So like, but the complaints on this one seem just like my complaints about 4 and 5 are like, I think they're bad games. But you know, but this one is just like, it's objectively a remake of a very good game. And like, so the periphery around it, if there's some small stuff that annoys you, I get it. And we'll get into it and everything. But like, all the bones are the game that you pretend to like, which just so that confuses me.
The flip-flopping that a lot of people are doing that I'm seeing is like, oh, they didn't take enough risks, they played it too safe. And then how dare you change where that rock is? How dare you remove the tree from the silent cartographer? I don't want to just freely drive my warthog up this hill to go fight the hunters. I want to struggle and kill myself flipping the warthog over and all this and all that. It's this mentality about like purist approach to the game versus I want Halo Studios to, if they're going to remake this game, to try harder. So I have a lot of opinions. Obviously, we're gonna get to them.
Yes.
I think that I have a word that I would summarize this game in, and I don't mean it as mean as other folks mean it. But man, I wish that the Halo community, and don't get me wrong, there are pockets of folks that are fantastic, so nice,
yes,
so cool, very chill about the game, that are like, hey man, it's not for me, and like, if you're enjoying it, then I hope you're really enjoying it. I wish that more of the Halo community adopted that sort of approach to it, but man, we are sure living in times, aren't we?
Yeah. What is nuance? Anyway, you said it already in the last section, which is, you know, why does this game exist? And so we're all speculating here, to be clear. We don't know. I don't think they have explicitly stated these were our exact reasons for making this video game, but it's not super hard to buckle down and figure some of that out. So do we Pfhorbear, you can take all of these, we could do bullet by bullet, up to you.
Sure. Right before we hopped into this, I feel like context is nice while we discuss this stuff. We're not necessarily going to be reviewing the game, but how much time has everyone spent in it? I'm sitting at 39.6 hours on Steam. I just double checked that. I'm missing 4 achievements, and man, am I trying to get those done. But Ryan, I know that you've had the game for a while. Jake, how long have you gotten to hop into it as well?
I've only played since it came out on Game Pass. Was that the 28th or the 27th or something?
That would have been, I think that was the 28th.
Yeah, so I played since on Game Pass. I've done the prequel missions, and I've replayed the first 2 of those, and I played the first 2 levels of the actual campaign, the evolved campaign. So I haven't seen all of the. I haven't seen the flood. I haven't seen all. I mean, I've watched all the cutscenes and stuff. online just to kind
Yeah.
of see like what the changes were, but I haven't played through those parts yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wrote the walkthrough on IGN, which you can check out if you would like, for the solo legendary experience. So that is most of the time that I spent with it, and then I had to jump to Splatoon Raiders, so another great game.
Another campaign.
So yes, absolutely. So that is, I'm probably sitting at like
The
however long
Destiny
that would
killer.
have taken me, probably 18, 20 hours.
Sure.
I would say on solo legendary, like probably an average of 90 minutes a level, longer on some of them. Truth and reconciliation, you son of a bitch. But yeah, that's probably where I'm at. So you've definitely spent the most time with it. I spent less time with the campaign remix, although I would like to spend time with it. And then I have spent less time jumping in and grabbing like all the skulls and everything. That was somebody else's a horrible, horrible job that they had to go do. So
Well, cool. So yeah, I think discussing like why this game exists, what like purpose does it serve, its justification, all that fun stuff. I think that that's a great question to be asking right now. People have talked about the game itself plenty, but like this is going to be the first game in the franchise that has not been built solely on the Blam engine. And I know that you could say that like Halo Infinite, slip space, but it's still the Blam engine. It's the exact same engine. There have been modifications to it, just like there have been modifications to it for every Halo game. That's how video game development works. That's how working in a proprietary engine works when building sequels. But this is the first time that it's been built in Unreal Engine 5. I think that that's cool. I also think that it has caused issues with the game because it is not just running on UE5. They were speaking with another Halo content creator named Cami Shep and told him they refused to say that it is purely a Halo Reach version of the engine, which now, thanks to modders, we know is not the case anyway. It is sort of a weird amalgamation. It seems mostly like it's built on the Halo Reach version of the Blam engine, but it also has code base from Infinite and has stuff from 4 and 5 and Halo 3. Obviously, we'll touch on that later, but uh, as like running as a sort of plugin so that the game still feels like Halo. I think that it's very interesting, this decision that they've made. I think that this game exists uh in a very, very weird vacuum. I do think that I spent $70 on a tech demo that is not finished, but I'm very curious to hear what y'all think about about just like high level, even UE5 being the basis for a new Halo game, and sort of what that means moving forward.
well, I think that's objectively true. I think, like, yes, you did for people who did not do not do the Game Pass version of this, you did objectively spend $70 on a tech demo. Because like, yeah, I mean, but like, so the yeah, like for reason number one that I would say is like, to real quick to get to the point here, and then we'll spread around and talk about how effectively we feel the engine is used for it. Is like, they need to, when you're rebuilding and retraining an entire studio to use a different engine and different engine tools. First of all, the reason you would switch from something like Blam or Slipspace to UE5 away from a proprietary engine is it makes it a lot easier to bring in new talent, and you don't have to retrain them on your new engine, and also makes it way easier to shop out work to contractors and have them come in. You don't have to then like have every contractor that you work with go through a period of working on your proprietary engine, learning how it works, and then also working slower than they normally do because they are still learning. It takes a long time to learn and truly get very comfortable with an engine. So by doing something more like ubiquitous, like UE5, you allow for a lot more like skill share in something like that. So it makes sense that you would target something that is familiar to be like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to remake Halo 1, a game that is beloved. That is relatively small. We're going to use this as a project to get everyone up to speed. I actually was just listening to the audiobook for Play Nice, Jason Schreier's book about Blizzard, and when they set Team 1, I think, to start on StarCraft 2, the first thing that they did was, okay, we have this new engine, we have this new tool set, we're going to remake StarCraft 1 as a project in this engine so that we can understand what it would be like to make StarCraft from a 2D game to a 3D game. And so it's like, it's not an entirely weird process in the community to take something that is understood and rebuild it, because it is innately faster to do something like that. And, you know, the cynical thing to do is nowadays you're like, well, why would you not take something that you have rebuilt and sell it? So, like, it's a kill two birds with one stone situation. Now the reporting is saying that Halo Studios isn't really working on anything new, which is fucking weird, because you would think the entire point of going through this exercise was to prepare them to make new things. And now they're working on nothing, but
the rumors being
like
that it's all, 3 projects in development that were all canceled to make sure that this made it out the door before GTA came out. So, I hope that's not true. As recent as like a month ago, Halo Studios was teasing the future of HCS, which is the Halo Championship League, the competitive esports chapter of Halo Studios. They were teasing the future of HCS at Halo Fest in December. So hopefully we get some sort of a teaser about something there. But anyway, not to cut you off there, but like, man,
no, that's what a mess. Yeah. But that's kind of like reason one here. And for me, I think it's like the main issues that I have with the game are primarily issues that I have with what seems to be the engine switch, which is things like the plasma pistol, like not being able to cancel animations. So you can't throw grenades during wall fighting, which is a Halo staple, which is very, very annoying. And more specifically, when you're doing like solo legendary stuff for the like legendary heads out there, the Magnum swap just doesn't work. Or like it does, but it's significantly delayed because the animation has to play out. You can't cancel the animation, so you're the plasma pistol is just overloading in your big ass pocket, and you can't do anything until it's done. So that's horrible. And then my other biggest issue is the Jackal shields, which are just completely all shapes of borked. And all of those seem like issues with like small quirks of the Blam engine that just have not been able to make their way into Unreal. But like in terms of the game, like I don't think the game looks like quote unquote Unreal slop. I don't think I think otherwise, like they have done, as somebody who has spent a long time defending Bungie's decision to not move off of Tiger because they could think saying that it would be very difficult to replicate the feel of Destiny, which is the thing that kept the game alive for a long time. I will say I was like quite impressed at how they managed to mostly port over the feel of Halo. Largely speaking.
I agree. I want to touch back on another point that you made earlier, but first, I think that is the Blam plugin, or however they have developed this to like work in tandem with a version of Blam that is being plugged in for the simulation of the game and all of that. Like this game feels so much, and like it could be some amount of like recency bias or confirmation bias, but this game feels too much like Halo Reach to me, in a lot of ways, in the animation, in the Covenant AI. I agree that like two of my biggest gameplay issues, my two like really only gameplay issues, are the Jackals. Motherfuckers, are you kidding me? Especially on Legendary. Jake, have fun with that, brother. The Jackals, and they have acknowledged that, thankfully, so hopefully that does get patched.
Did they?
At some point.
Good.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
They're like, yeah, we've noticed some difficulty with the Jackals. It's like, man, y'all never noticed that before now, huh? That was never an issue. But the
difficulty.
Jackals...
there were places in that guide where I recommend like just throw grenades at them. Like at this point, like do you know how many grenades I just like didn't have grenades for literally anything else because I was just throwing them at packs of Jackals every time they showed up. And I'm like, I'm not dealing with this shit anymore.
It's the Jackals, and it's it's the other one that you just said. Oh, the animation canceling being an issue. The only gun it seems to work with out of the gate is the shotgun. Like you can still cancel reloading a slug. You can interrupt even once you're mid single slug. You can still interrupt it. It's the only gun that will let you do that. You cannot cancel a reload to throw a grenade. You cannot cancel a reload to throw a punch. Halo's golden triangle, right? Guns, grenades, melee. And like the game only really wants you to be worrying about one of those at a time, and that is infuriating. There's no agency in that. And I know that it's not Halo Studios trying to make a statement about the way they want the game to feel. It genuinely feels like a bug. And so I'm hoping that that does get addressed at some point in time. But considering I've seen such little discourse about it in general, I really don't think that it will get addressed in this game. Hopefully in the future. But this also ties into like difficulty scaling. Solo legendary is really, really, really hard in this game. It's, in my opinion, the next hardest game behind Halo 2 Legendary only. If not at times worse. And then oh man, I had another one and I lost it. That's so funny. Oh, Legendary on co-op, any more than 2 players is a joke. Me and my buddies steamrolled through that campaign on Legendary. It was hilarious. I was like crying. I was upset because I was like, oh yeah, this section, this took me 20 minutes and we get done in 3 seconds. Oh, we just cleared this room. No issue. Oh, the lift on TNR? Nah, sorry, dude. Lob a grenade in there, go back smack a hunter, you're good to go.
Oh, the lift, dude. Those sword elites. And the
but
Wraith explosion in the corner. God.
All of that to sort of say, I agree with you that this is a tech demo, like we were saying. This is an opportunity to provide contractors an easier entry point into working on the game, rather than a 6-month contract, losing 4 months of it to learning the Blam engine. I do believe, unfortunately, that there is still some Blam engine funkiness that people are going to have to learn at least a little bit. I do think it'll be an easier onboarding in general because of UE5. I'm hoping that whatever version of Blam is being sort of used for the simulation of this game is just as modular as the rest of UE5 is. And so it makes it a little bit easier for folks to work on. But hopefully that is an engineering problem more than it is a general sort of like gameplay and level design and counter design and all of that. I think that this game is so clearly like the first thing that they showed off back in October of 2024, which was it 24? Or was it 25 when they announced like their name rebrand and hey, here's Project Foundry and we're rebuilding all of these assets in Unreal Engine because we're moving to Unreal, guys, and we're gonna show you all of this cool stuff. And yes, these assets that we're building, we are definitely using these, even though the chief model is completely different in Campaign Evolved than it is in that version of the demo. I think that this was it almost feels like the community wanted a Halo remake out of that when they first showed that off, because they used like the Halo 1 chief model, they used Alpha Halo, sort of alpine landscape from the level Halo. And so they were fulfilling like a tease that maybe at the time, okay, maybe I do not believe that this game was in development back then. There's literally no way that that's the case. If it was, that it had just started development. But I do think that that's mostly what this ended up being, was, hey, we kind of told you we were going to do it, so I guess we could do it.
Jake, what are your thoughts on the engine swap and the feel?
I think it feels whatever. I still think it feels kind of like an older FPS. I think that might be one of my complaints, is I think maybe they could have done a little bit more, but it's fine. I think it's good enough. I mean, ultimately, it's like, why is Campaign Evolved? Even just, putting the totality of all these facts together, it just seems like, why is it evolved? Evil corporate greed. I mean, basically, like, bring it over to Unreal Engine, not because we're going to establish a team and we want to, like, but it's like, okay, we want contractors who we don't have to give benefits to be able to swap in and out and be on short contracts, so we're paying them less money. It's like, that's like kind of a bummer, but I understand, I guess, the concept of the workflow is changing. But it's like, it kind of feels like, man, maybe some of the magic of the feel of these games and how they came together were people having extended experience creatively over multiple projects, and it seems like if the evolution is to remove an environment where you have that kind of continuity of team members consistently in a bunch of different ways, maybe that would be an issue. But I don't know. I think all things considered, maybe you don't really even need that, because you're just kind of, if the goal is to do Halo 2 next, and that's kind of like a remake, and maybe just going to stick to that. But yeah, it does seem like ultimately, why is it going on? Yeah, like you guys are saying, figure out how to do something with the new format in a new company with a new chain of command and a new engine and stuff. And I guess, probably achieve that goal in a large capacity, right? Of trying to figure out what does it look like for us to actually ship something on this. But feels kind of evil.
Yeah, man. Hey, this thing that you love. It's 25 years old now, man. Like that's older than probably most of the people playing the game at this point. We sure are gonna milk it. We love that cash cow, baby.
Look at that natural segue, though. For another reason as to
absolutely.
why this game might exist.
Real fast. I wanted to just hit on
please.
something real quick that Jake said. Jake, you said this still kind of feels like an older game to you. I think between like most of the games still having that like classic Halo level design is part of it. Can we talk about how weird of a decision it is for them to be like, we wanted to modernize Halo 1? But all they did was add sprint to it. There's no mantling, there's no sliding, there's like none of that.
Yeah, I found myself
weird.
trying to mantle especially in the whatever the prequel missions. I feel like some of the ledges are almost designed like it feels like, okay, it's just out of reach so that I can just get up there and grab on. But yeah,
Nah, Halo 1, baby, learn how to crouch jump.
Yeah.
We'll get to we'll get to like how they could have maybe built this thing to be more exciting in a minute. But to your point, it reintroduces the franchise to a new generation of people, technically, which will make like making more remakes or more Halo spin-off projects. Like there's an entire generation at this point whose only Halo games are Halo Infinite and the Halo TV show.
Don't forget Fortnite.
Yes, and they know Master Chief from the Fortnites. But that's like, Master Chief from the Telvin, like hot Pablo Schreiber, fucking alien ladies is like the thing they know about Halo.
Jimmy Rings.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus. So like it technically gives them a chance to reinvent and reintroduce this thing to more people. Which makes the likelihood that if they make like another Halo Wars game that could do well, or if they do another different kind of spin-off or something, there's always that rumor of like a battle royale or something like that was going on, or an extraction shooter that was happening in the background. Like if now there's a whole generation of people that have like played Halo with their dad and now playing like this version of the game or something like that is like technically is bringing the making the game more accessible, more modern to that newer audience.
Yeah. This was a really weird way to do that.
Yes, for sure.
This was such a strange way to do that because like I think the same thing could be said for a Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, which in my opinion is a much less faithful version of the game, despite the fact that it is literally Halo 1 running underneath it. Like literally hit a button, switch graphics. Like this is still literally just Halo 1. We just added a layer of fidelity on top of it. I think that this was a weird way to do that.
Interesting word for that.
Yes. I mean, look, 2011, baby, it was crazy. I was there for the midnight launch of that. I got my copy signed by Frank O'Connor at RTX.
Nice.
Well, not anymore.
Not so nice.
But
nice in 2011.
Yeah, great. In like 2013 when I got that, oh my god, I freaked out. I think that this is such an interesting game because obviously the Master Chief Collection was not a guaranteed thing in 2014. It was so heavily rumored that we kind of take that for granted. Like the idea that a Halo 2 remake was coming and then, it's the Master Chief Collection. It's all of the Bungie games plus the bad one. I think that I think that there's no guarantee that a Halo 2 and Halo 3 are going to be remade. I think that there is no guarantee that if they are, they'll be on PlayStation. And so for this to have been, obviously those goals were different than they were after like Asha Sharma took over.
Yeah.
I think that this game is going to have such an interesting place in the future of like the Halo franchise, if there even is one. I
Mhm.
think that this could have been that. Absolutely. I think it has the potential to be that. As soon as 343, or sorry, Halo Studios comes out and says, yes, we are doing a Halo 2 remake, and yes, we will be doing a Halo 3 remake. Dream scenario, by the way, Halo 2 and 3 remake together, one game. Don't give me prequel missions. Don't need any of that. Bundle them together. Please, God, I just want to remake Halo 3.
Why would they do that when they can sell 2 games?
No, of course, of course. I don't know, man. I think that
It's not
this
on
is.
PlayStation, by the way. There's no way. There's no way. They put
I
them
I
on
don't know.
PlayStation.
I don't know, man. I'm so conflicted about it
I
because
played on
they said
PlayStation. It feels great. I honestly it felt fantastic in my hands. I loved it. I would love it if it was on PlayStation. There's no fucking way.
I think it's
They're
interesting
done.
because Matt Booty recently said that their multiplayer games will still come to PlayStation. So I do think that there's like weirdly potential for a future Halo multiplayer game to come to PlayStation, but I really don't think that Halo 2 and 3 remakes or
Even that statement was so mealy mouthed and like
of
no one. They
course.
had to like come back and re-clarify it multiple times. Like they don't know what's going on over there at
No,
all.
of
Like
course.
Xbox
They
is a
by the seat of
fucking
their
mess.
pants right now. Yeah, yeah. It's I don't know, man. I feel I'm sorry. I'm rambling about it a little bit, but I think that there is a likelihood that we will get future remakes of Halo 2 and 3. I wanted this game to be a really cool way for new players to come in and play the game. I think unfortunately so much of the online discourse though, which I think that younger players tend to pay more attention to, has been that this game is not good and it's this and it's that, and I have seen plenty of Halo content creators recommending that you just go back and play the original. Not
Yeah.
all of them,
I
but plenty
I
of
think
them.
that's hard though. Like I think that I see things where like I think it's hard to go back and play the originals if you, I think that's very like rose tinted glasses. As somebody who loves
100%.
this series very deeply, like trying to like bring my wife back, like be like, hey, you should play this series with me. I love it. And we got through like 5 minutes of Pillar of Autumn on Master Chief Collection, and she's just like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know if I like it. And like, yeah, I understand that. Like, it is old. It is clunky feeling. When you are not somebody who is like played it at the time. And I think like for
Right.
me it just feels like Halo, but for her it feels like something like going back and playing something as old as Marathon, which like feels like an old ass game. And I think this, as much as it does feel old, one thing I will say about it, like to your point, Jake, is I think it feels it feels old to me in a way that like I remember the game feeling old. But I think realistically, if you were to go back and actually like play Halo Combat Evolved like in the Anniversary Edition, I think this does feel significantly more modern. I think it just like it has that like crusty feel to it, which I personally find endearing. But I think ultimately will still make it easier for a newer person to jump into. I mean, Jake, have you experienced that? I don't know if you want to talk about having played any of it with children, but do you feel like there is an experience there? If you want to, I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if you
played.
want to talk about that. I totally get it.
No, no, no. I played through Halo 1 through 3 with my son. So he was 7, I think, at the time. We did that last year. And
Right.
he loved it. It was like fantastic. And I don't know, like we played a little bit of this, not as much interest. That might be more so related to like, he's moved on to bigger and better things, Roblox, Fortnite. um but yeah, I kind of get like, I haven't been through the entirety of the campaign. I'm interested in seeing it. Um, but yeah, for me, still, I think I would go back to the original. I don't, I do think like it's weird because it does a lot and does too little to me. Like, I just feel like when I
I also
sit
feel that
down
way.
and I play a modern FPS, the feel of the FPS, regardless of the quality of them, I don't know. I feel like something is very different. If you play a Destiny 2, you play a FPS that, is from a much modern era, there's a very distinct difference to me that I don't know. This game definitely does not feel like that, and it feels older. I don't know, but I think Halo holds up. I'm kind of, I don't know. I recognize, I agree with what you're saying, because in my position, I think I have a different perspective in the sense that, like, I enjoy playing through like marathon classic games, and I enjoy that feel of things, and I like the idea that like certain eras of games are defined by their technology, and I enjoy engaging with those systems in the way that they are. So I can't really say whether or not Halo 1 doesn't hold up, I guess, from a gameplay perspective. But to me, it's like, I feel like the difference between these two games is kind of like, for me, it's all visual, basically, is what it feels like. Not having gone, like, I haven't gone back and played whatever Halo 1 since I've touched this in the past few days, but it really feels like a big visual upgrade. But yeah, I'm not really noticing the sprinting or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I kept forgetting to sprint. So, oh yeah,
I think it's easy to do with this, man, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's easy to do until you play on Solo Legendary and you have a moment. You have some moments later in the campaign where you were like, I think I could just run past this entire encounter. And then you do, and you're like, well, that's going in the walkthroughs. That was my experience. Everyone else have that experience? Because like that, I was like, write that down.
There were
Good note
definitely
here.
a couple of those fights where it was like, nah, I'm just booking it, man.
Nope,
I'm not
it.
hanging out here.
There's some good ones on keys that you can just don't need to be here for this.
We should nitpick on some of this gameplay here in a little bit, because some of it is more annoying the more you like think about it. Jake, I highly recommend. I don't know if you're planning on sticking with it, trying to get through the rest of it. But the back half of the campaign has never traditionally been the case. The back half of this campaign is the better half of this game.
I have heard that.
Whereas
it seems
like
like
the
classic Halo 1
cool as well,
it is
visually. So
absolutely, yes. It is the atmosphere, the vibes, the like flood reveal cutscene. Spoiler alert, guys! There's another enemy faction in this game. The flood reveal cutscene is done perfectly, in my opinion. I think it's also the only cutscene that's done perfectly in this game.
Interesting.
I would highly recommend pushing through, because as someone who's like been so consumed by every single piece of drop that I could possibly get out of the lead up, like the marketing, we've seen so much of the Silent Cartographer, we've seen so much of Attack on the Control Room. Pushing through that first half of the campaign, getting through Attack on the Control Room, which AOTC is the first level in the game that starts to really play with differences and like level geometry, which is neat. They change a couple of things. They've removed a couple of rooms. Some of the rooms are different. There are completely new rooms, which sounds so silly to be so excited about for a game that I've played through, but it's a game that we've played through a million times over the last 25 years. The back half of the game is really, really cool, and I genuinely think that if like the library, this game's version of the library were to come out today in a new Halo game, and it was like a new Halo game's flood level, I think I would have been extremely happy with that.
It's honestly fantastic. It's the best the library has ever played. Yeah, I mean, like, it's funny to talk about. I'm going to bring us to our final point here. So it's funny to talk about all the things that this game does better than the Halo 1, the original, being the back half, because I think one of the main reasons why they would have remade this game is that Halo Studios needs a win. Needs to put out like needs to put out a good Halo product. Which personally I think they did with this, but I think there is a not insignificant group of Halo fans, like myself included, who would have said that Halo Studios or 343 Studios has yet to put out a good Halo product in the modern era. I think Infinite is as close as they got to it, and then they, I think, betrayed a lot of people's trusts when then immediately canceling their plans for the campaign. So, but when doing a situation like this, you can be like, well, Halo 1 is good. So the game is good. In Halo 2 and 3, they're good games. People seem to like them. So what if we just remade those and put them back out? It guarantees you a certain level of quality. We talked about this a little bit ago, Jake, on this very show when we were talking about the purpose of remakes. I think on the first episode, we were talking about from Nintendo's perspective. Everyone was like, why the hell would they remake Star Fox 64 for the 5th time for this game? And it's like, well, that's really easy, because they haven't made a good Star Fox game since Star Fox 64 came out. So when you're trying to reintroduce new people, when you're looking at all the different goal sets they have of like, how can we remake a game quicker and efficiently to learn a new engine? How can we remake a game? How can we bring this franchise to a new group of people? We can go back and we can make a good one. If we go back and remake a good one, that guarantees to some degree that it will be a higher quality, rather than taking those dice and rolling them. So, by going that route, they're able to capture kind of the vibe of the original while ensuring that they're going to end up getting a semi-high quality product baseline out the door from a design perspective. They have to do significantly less work to make sure it is good. Which is partially why I feel like so much care went into those 3 prequel missions, because all their design stress went into making 3 pretty sizable levels instead of making the other 10, which were already pretty much laid out for them. So that leads us into the, I think now we are just discussing, which we've been discussing in the middle part of it, but now we're just discussing the validity of this game's like existence, which we've kind of been doing, but now we are in the, not the wrap up phase, but the stage has been set, I think,
Sure.
as to why this thing is. Now, should this thing is the answer of the question. The answer of the question to be.
I think I would honestly be more curious to hear what Jake thinks about it first. Like purely having played it the least,
Always
having
things about it.
the 100%. Talk more, dude. Come on. That's a Escape Will Make Me Pod reference. Sorry.
Yeah,
but
can we get Jake to talk more?
yeah, Jake's so quiet. Why is he even on the show?
Tell that yelly guy to shut the fuck up and make Jake talk more.
Hey, can we get rid of this Scarrow guy? He's so
yeah.
fucking annoying.
It's just me botting the comments of the podcast.
Right? No, of course. You got to be careful, man. One of these days, you're gonna do it on your main account.
Yeah.
But Jake, like having the least amount of time in it, but obviously interested in it enough to have me come and talk with y'all about it. What do you think? Do you think that what you've seen of the game, what you've played versus like what you've watched, do you think that this game deserves to exist? Because the evil corporation needs to make money to keep funding the studio that's not making games?
Anything for Lord Microsoft. I think that like from the get-go did not like get it. Like I didn't really understand. Like, okay, you're gonna do a Halo 1 remake. Why? It's been remastered. It's available via the MCC. Even if you were going to do it, why would that not just be an upgrade to the Master Chief Collection? Because now the Master Chief Collection isn't really the Master Chief Collection in the sense that it has original Halo, like Halo 1, but it also has the anniversary or whatever. Isn't that included in there? Or you can toggle back and forth or something?
Yeah.
To put the
anniversary edition isn't.
So it's like,
and it has multiplayer.
Yeah, and it has multiplayer. It's a full package. I guess Halo 5 probably isn't still part of the MC. Is that in there now?
It is not, and they have said very plainly that it never will.
Okay, so it seems weird to like continue a growing divide and making MCC less valuable. It seems weird. Like I get the idea of this being a reset. It's something that's more sure, but also like if the goal is to attract new people, I would love to like really genuinely know how many people actually had never played Halo and tried this Halo. Like, is that actually a number that they were thinking they were going to be able to expand? Like, because it seems like it was so built around nostalgia. And if it's because it was so built around nostalgia, I don't know. I feel like from the outside looking in, talking to other Halo community people, Hollow Tide, it's like, man, I don't really know what they could have done that they wouldn't have liked, and it almost seems going back and touching this thing was going to be very hard because whatever changes you did make were going to be scrutinized to such a degree that it's like, why even take the risk? Um, so I was going into it not like I'm not interested in really like playing the campaign again. Like or if I would play it, I would go in and play the original version. So I wasn't looking for that, but I was excited for the prequel missions. I like the idea of expanding out the universe in places that we haven't seen before, and I didn't really enjoy Halo Infinite. Like I've tried to like play through the campaign 2 or 3 times now and never get past like the first few missions. I don't know that I've seen the open world aspect of it actually. What is that? Like the first 2 missions? I feel like I always stop somewhere in there.
Interesting.
Fake fan.
Yeah, so fake fan. Yeah. So I was excited to see something maybe a little bit more return to form, level based structure format of something Halo. And I think the prequel stuff they'd done before was pretty cool. Reach was probably like on the back end of me being like super Halo fan, with like 3 being the peak where it's like I was at just the right age and all my buddies were playing it. And that was a prequel kind of thing. So I was thinking that would be cool. So I think generally my disappointment was that the prequel missions felt it was less of like a self-contained miniature Halo campaign to me, and it felt like tacked on missions. Like it feels very disjointed. It feels like there's not a lot of like cohesion between the levels. Like even going into it, like I'm not entirely against like the concept of using like a block of text to open things up, but given that it is like entirely, it doesn't like cutscene into Halo 1. There's nothing like, there's no preamble to it other than that. It just felt very strange to me. And like, as I'm not reading all the stuff beforehand or trying to like really deeply follow the narrative implications. I'm just taking it at face value of like, I'm turning on the game and going into the level. And to me, it just felt like a very much so. The start of Halo has a lot of sauce to it. It has a lot of ambiance.
Yeah.
It has a lot of like setting the stage. And I feel like maybe that's generally something that carries across the games. And with this, it just kind of felt like you got a wall of text and then you're dropped in. And so I'm not really sold on the concept. And after playing through them, even like, I think they're fine. I think they're fine missions from like a gameplay perspective. It seemed pretty fun. I was telling Ryan, like, that one room at the end of the second level is bullshit. That's like the worst room in a Halo game ever to me. But I mean, whatever. I thought it was okay, but it didn't really do anything new. I feel like it also felt a little bit like repetitive. It felt like I was going through a lot, which makes sense because it was all like in one ship. You're just traversing one area. There was like some cool like scenery changes and different environments with the habitat shelter area or whatever. But generally, like the actual encounters I was engaging in felt very samey to me, and the story stuff was not interesting to me. Then again, this might just be a thing where it's like, I've changed and Halo hasn't. Like, I don't think that Sergeant Johnson is as charming to me as a character, even if it is like a cool throwback kind of character.
Sure.
And even like the ODST, I imagine, I know Brian, I think, was telling me at some point, the discussion around her has been probably horrific online.
Oh yeah, it's been horrible.
So I'm sure that's an element of it. And I'm not trying to say like, I don't care. I think the idea of her challenging the Master Chief is cool. I think the idea of having like a woman character in the context of the story who isn't like a commander or admiral or like a AI that's naked, I think that's a cool idea. Like it's
a Nebo baby.
Yeah, it makes sense to like put a strong female character somewhere into the game. I mean, Halsey, I guess, but you get what I'm saying. Like, seems like I'm not criminal. I haven't completed this thought, but just like listing them, it seems like a lot of the women in the series have been kind of disconnected, maybe from the main action in some capacity. So
for sure,
it's cool to see that, but simultaneous to that, like it just felt very classic sci-fi in the sense that there's not a lot of depth to it. Like I get the idea of being mad at the Master Chief, but also like the horrific nature of being a prisoner of war and the types of attitudes you would expect. And especially when we have, a lot of games that explore the depth of these very extreme circumstances in a way that feels very real and like very disturbing. And to see like a sci-fi setting where really horrific things are happening, and kind of like the way they set up the experimentation on this ship and stuff, I feel like kind of got to look a little bit more into it to kind of pick up the kind of horror setting and vibes that they're trying to do with that. But I just feel like the tone of all the characters was off-putting in a way that, like, in the original game, I think it is spaceman. It's inspired by aliens. It's like the campiness is kind of part of the charm, whereas now seen in a modern context, that this is kind of where they're at. I don't know. I kind of maybe would have liked a different tone. So fun to play. Fun. I had like a good time playing it. I still feel like it's kind of like unnecessary because the leaps in the gameplay aren't that interesting to me, and it doesn't make me excited to see what the next Halo. Like, I didn't play the prequel missions and think the content of this story makes, well, where are they going to take it next? Like, what is going to be the next new thing from Halo Studios? I more so am thinking, like, if that Halo 2 remake has multiplayer, if I could go theater mode, if I could forge mode with all these Unreal assets, okay, that might be pretty gnarly. I would love to do custom games in a Halo 3. It's pretty now, but you can do all the stuff that you did last time. That kind of appeals to me, but yeah. So I don't think I'm a hater, but I'm not like super excited.
I love that take, like, especially not to only focus on what you just said at the end, but seeing this does not make you excited for the next thing, and I think that is the most important takeaway for the whole package. If you are someone who has read all the books like me, or obsesses over every screenshot, or every like, a community manager said this thing and the way they worded it, maybe it was a little bit more cheeky than they meant it to be. Very like Destiny or Marathon sort of coded these days, but
yeah.
I think that is the biggest thing, and I think in that this game has a hard time justifying its existence, because the idea for this, I think, really was to get, like we touched on earlier, like Ryan was saying, this should have helped to introduce like a whole new generation of Halo players to the game, and I don't think that it's going to have succeeded in that by the time the dust settles. I also don't think that this is going to get anyone excited about Halo 7 or a Halo 2 remake, unless Halo 2 is your favorite campaign. I think that this game is going to have a really, really hard time selling. And I think that the prequel missions are good. I think that they're designed really well. I think that the story is such a weird, nebulous thing. I love this story because I've read The Fall of Reach more times than I should ever admit on camera. And it ties into yes, yeah, it is. It ties into Operation Red Flag, which is really cool and like an insane thing that should have never happened, and it didn't happen. Spoiler alert. Covenant arrive. But like, man, there are so many cool like nods to hardcore Halo fans. But I also got the feeling the entire time I was playing through these prequel missions, again, which I think are good, that like this is not going to land for anyone that is not a pretty solid Halo fan. Like, this is not going to land for anyone that is hopping into this expecting like these are new Halo levels. Like you were saying, Jake, like this is a glimpse maybe at the way that 343 Halo Studios will.
It's the same thing.
I know, number company. This is the way that Halo Studios will make their next linear Halo game. I think that it is probably fairly indicative of that. I think that it is a very solid showing from their teams. If it was actually developed in-house, we know a lot of people helped make this game. It does not seem like Halo Studios really had a big hand in developing the levels, but I think that like the prequel missions specifically, I think that they're a solid little bundle of like fun for you to have. It's a fun added bonus to this. Hey, sorry, we're not going to build multiplayer in Unreal Engine. The engine is not ready for that yet. There are way too many issues with it. But here's like a fun thing to help justify why we are charging as much as we are for it. The $50, unless you paid like the Fat Kid edition like I did. But it's really hard to sit down and look at this and be like, hey, cool, the Master Chief Collection exists on Xbox and PC. Yeah, sure, it's not on PlayStation, but like what Halo game ever has been or will be after this? So I don't know. It feels like such a weird project to be like, hey, get excited about this because this Halo 1 remake is the future of Halo. It's like, well, what does that even mean? I understand like the conversation that we've already had. This is for them to show us like, hey, this is what we can do with Unreal, and this is us scratching the surface of that.
Yeah, this will be my last point before I've said my piece on the game, and
Yeah,
I'm done. But my final point here is I think actually that the demographic that this game works best for is me. Specifically, as somebody who is like a really hardcore Halo is like the most important franchise to me for like the first 15-20 years of my life. Um and it mattered a lot, and then I really lost a lot of faith and care in the series once 343 took over, and really the momentary time that I got it back during Infinite, they immediately spent that goodwill on me, and I was like, all right, I think I'm just done. And so I to the point where I was like not looking forward to this at all. I thought it sounded like ass. I literally just like I submitted for, hey, I could probably write guides for this because I know the game very well, and got assigned to it, and just really ended up enjoying it because, like, to me, those bonus missions are one of the best things I feel like 343 has ever put together. Because to me, it feels like they are not trying to do something explicitly super different. It feels like for me, it is the first, they feel like old missions to
which
some
is a
degree.
great
They feel
compliment.
like, right. Yes, I mean that very much as a compliment. They feel like, I don't think they feel like Halo 1 missions. I think they
Right.
feel like a mix between 2, 3, and Reach missions more so than 1. But like, I got a classic Halo feel going through it. And it felt like them admitting and acknowledging for the first time that like, we can, we can just make more of that. And it's actually pretty fun and pretty good and interesting and enjoyable. And like, I liked the story that they were telling. I thought it was cool to see somebody like treat Chief like he's propaganda because that's what he was built to
Right.
be. Like it was like that was exciting for me as like an old school Halo fan. So like as a lapsed player, as somebody who was like lost faith that we'd ever get good Halo again, I was like, this is the first time I had played a new Halo mission in like almost like 15 years at this point, like since
Yeah.
Reach came out, where I was like, this feels traditional because the thing I like about Infinite is that it's not, and it feels like they went so in the other direction that it felt like an actual evolution. But this is the first time I felt like I was playing a traditional Halo level for the first time, and that was like exciting and like maybe even a little emotional for me to go through that. And I feel like they nailed the assignment. Yeah, like who knows if it was Halo Studios or what, or if it's outside contractors mostly, but
It
whoever
really
worked
doesn't
on
matter,
those,
right?
it doesn't. Yeah, because they to me they crushed it. And then when you take the improvements to the back half. I wish they would have taken more of some of the like more liberal changes they did with like the flood and everything, and they would have extrapolated that forward because I think those first few missions feel old. Like
It's
there's
the
no reason not to have a
most
needle
like
rifle.
slog for sure.
Yes, there's no reason not to have the needle rifle in Truth and Reconciliation, for example. Like it's confusing. It makes no sense because it's there in keys. Like they clearly have them on board. So it's
Yeah.
frustrating that like it's not in there. Like they could have done more of that because the second half of this campaign, when they start putting the flood in there, feels excellent. And to me, as somebody who loves the series and has played that game probably 100 times and played the first half another 50 more and not the second, um, it feels like I would never want to go back to the non Halo 3 flood version of these games because it makes specifically 343 Guilty Spark, the library, two betrayals and keys feel so much better. That I think the Maw was always good, but like it, to me, those four levels were always such a such a burden on the campaign, and now I think they're excellent and they're fun and they're cool and they make the flood feel like a flood, like an insurmountable force for even the chief to get through. And so it feels like, oh, I should run. I should get out of here.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be standing here just killing every single one of them.
And you
And
can
that
run now.
feeling,
You can actually
yes,
run
and you
now.
can run. Put it in the trailer. And like that to me worked. Like that,
Yeah.
to me that brought me in to go, okay, if we get Halo 2, like now the thing that I would want is I would want them to remake Halo 2 and do 4 bonus missions instead of 3.
Oh.
Or like remake Halo 3 and do, 4 or 5 and more bonus missions. Like give me more of this, like of this exact kind of thing where they're like, here's a little new plus a lot of old, and then be maybe a little bit more liberal with like adding in some of the newer weapons and stuff at different places, like that kind of thing. I think the the campaign remix thing that we've barely been able to touch on and don't have time for is a really cool concept.
I hope that it continues into future remakes and main games for sure.
Yeah,
It's fun.
to me, this package on the flood and the bonus missions alone, and like as a Halo fan, it's worth checking out and looking into. As somebody who has missed when the series was important to me, I really appreciate it. But yeah, like I agree. I don't think it succeeds in doing what it needs to do, which is bring in new people, and I don't think it necessarily succeeds by making like appeasing old school players. Although I do wonder what that, or like current active Halo fans. Although I do wonder what a project that would make them happy would look like. But for somebody who is like never been happy with the more recent direction of things, it felt like it shocked me genuinely in how much it felt like coming home in a way that I was like, oh no, this series is still important to me if it's done. If they can do it in the way, if they can shape it to my nostalgia brain,
right,
it can still tickle that for me pretty well, actually.
I want to just very quickly say I feel like I hope I have not misrepresented myself. I really enjoyed this game a lot. If I had to throw a number on it, I would give it like a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. Like, I think that this is a very fun package. If you are a Halo fan looking for a hidden nostalgia, like Ryan is saying, I think that this is the way that you should check out the game, especially if you have like Game Pass, something like that. But I agree. I think that this is a very solid package. I do think it has a hard time justifying itself existing. Unless you are like a very specific fan looking for a very specific thing. Outside of that though, I don't know. I feel like I'm all over the place with it. I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. This is a fun game. It's a great game. Solid game. It's okay game. It's bad game. Whatever you want it to be. Play it. And tell us what you think in the comments.
Absolutely.
All for comments. Jake, do you have anything else to add before we call this one another short episode?
Halo Studios should not make a Halo game. They should just go make a new IP. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Actually,
I think
that would be hilarious. I mean,
they should Halo Studios, and they should do just their own brand new thing. If they did those 3 levels and it wasn't Halo, people would not have a complaint. They wouldn't be nitpicking all the shit. That's what they should do.
Halo Studios should make Marathon 4.
I was literally going to say that, damn it. They should make Destiny 3. That's who needs to take the IP.
Yeah, they make Marathon 4, but they make it a looter shooter light MMO light thing. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yes. They should make, okay, hold on. Here's an idea. What if they made Marathon 4 and they made it an extraction shooter?
Yeah.
Do we think that would do well in the current market?
Well, we've never seen, so we'd have to
You know what? I think
it's impossible to know.
I think if there's a studio that could do it, I think it's Halo Studios.
It's got to be Halo Studios. Yeah, there's something
Obviously.
about that's something about that old engine that would just really feel nice. Oh man.
Well,
Halo.
also the animations look weird. Am I crazy for that? Because I thought when they first showed the Unreal Engine stuff, they looked like they looked like toys. Kinda.
Do you mean?
And then it did look like
in
that.
game, or do you mean in cutscenes?
In the cutscenes, the cutscenes
cutscenes are all over the place. So inconsistent.
Okay.
Voice
because
directions
are
I have seen
very
that are better.
unfinished.
I have seen some like on YouTube that look better, but
They're extremely inconsistent. Voice direction, I think, is all over the place. Jen Taylor's a very talented actress. They messed her shit up in this game.
Yeah, they use some weird takes for her in this game.
Yeah.
But
I love Johnson's new voice actor. I think especially for new dialogue that he's recorded, I think he's fantastic. It just takes a little
I
while.
feel like they
to,
really made him look like Courtney B. Vance in this game. Am
I
the only one
mean,
who thinks
Steve
that?
Harvey, like he looks like, according
does
to
have-
Twitter,
he-
he hosts Family Feud.
I don't know. He looks more like Courtney B. Vance to me, but um. Anyway, Pfhorbear, thanks for coming by. We'll have you when this show's still going and we get another Halo game in 12 years. We'll have you by again. So appreciate it. Yeah, plug your shit.
I don't make a ton of content anymore, but I'm trying to get back into it. You can find me at twitch.tv/Pfhorbear. That's Pfhor, Pfhorbear. You can also find me on YouTube, same handle, Pfhorbear. What else? Twitter at Pfhorbear, Pfhorbear. This has been a ton of fun, guys. I appreciate y'all having me on.
yeah, thank you
Thanks
for
for
coming,
coming.
dude.
Then Jake the All Right, are you gonna actually pimp your stuff this time, or
Pornhub.com/Jake the All Right.
available in your state near you? Probably.
No,
Yeah.
not mine.
ID
I'm in Texas, baby.
verification is required for my Let's Plays. Yes.
I use
please
that
send please send a
in.
picture of your license to at Jake the All Right on Twitter for verification.
Yeah.
Jake the All Right is a good channel that's got good shit on it. You should go check that out.
Absolutely.
Okay. All
Ryan,
right, thanks,
what about
everybody.
you? Where can people find you at?
This on the channel that they're on, presumably. So
You're
yeah.
here.
Thanks for I hit over 500 subscribers, which is awesome.
Hey.
So that's very cool. I'm getting close to 600. I'm trying to get to 1,000 before BlizzCon in September. So if you want to go sub to the channel, that'd be sick. Or check out my StarCraft video or my Destiny 3 video. That'd be awesome. Jake helped a lot with stuff, and also Pfhorbear helped me set up my stream setup forever ago. So everybody here helping me do shit. So, gotta have friends. Remember that, folks. Think about
That's
that.
the message.
Think about that when you think about Halo. That's when I think about is the friends that I play co-op with all the time. So that's let that be a lesson. All right, we'll be back talking about more game stuff. Probably some horrible news that's gonna drop in the next couple days. Anytime now. So we'll see you then. Thanks all.
Bye-bye.